Hey, what's up guys? It's Phil here from Inspired Fitness. We got a special guest today.
What's up? My name is Jeremy. You can find all my socials at Jeremy Sry.
It'll be all in the description below. So what we do in this series is take some of your favorite foods and turn them into some macro-friendly options. Today we have a Matcha Souffle Pancake recipe for you guys. It's gonna be awesome. We're gonna be looking to change the macros from this to this. So let's get cooking up, guys. I am super excited for this video, guys. Today we got Matcha Souffle Pancakes with 30 grams of protein in each one of these. So if you haven't seen my original souffle pancake recipe, make sure to go check that out. This is going to be a rendition of that video, so let's get into it, guys. It's really easy to make, and that's the best part about this. So the ingredient list will be down in the description below, so make sure to check that out before you start this video. So we're going to be starting it off with 15 grams of matcha powder. We got 1 whole egg, half a tablespoon of baking powder. So we're gonna have 25 grams of melted butter here. That's all we're gonna need for 2 pancakes. So now we're gonna need around 125 grams of this Birch Bender's pancake mix. There's 16 grams of protein. You can find it at any Vaughn's or Ralph's, or I can just link it in the description down below. Up next, we got around 100 grams of fat-free milk. So now we're just gonna use half a teaspoon of baking soda here. Half a teaspoon is all you need. This stuff is really bitter, guys. So now we're going to be using 60 grams of that monk fruit sweetener. This is going to add a lot of sweetness without any calories. So now let's start assembling the pancake batter. All we really need to do is get that egg and separate the egg white to the egg yolk. I did a really good job here. I never get this down. I always get a little piece of egg yolk in there, but that's totally fine. If you get a little bit in there, it's not going to be the end of the world. So now it's time for the fun part. We're just gonna get a whisk and really whisk up those eggs and put a lot of air into them. And what this does is it makes the pancake really fluffy. It helps it rise and it helps it become that souffle pancake that we all know and love. You guys don't have to do this by hand. I just don't have a hand mixer. This will usually take maybe 30 seconds, but we took a good 10 minutes here, but that's totally fine. We're burning some calories, we're earning the food, and I just like to think of it that way. But yeah, just use a hand mixer, guys. So after doing this for around 8 minutes or so, you can see that these stiff peaks are starting to form, meaning we incorporated enough air into the egg whites so that it can really fluff up and really make that pancake into like a souffle. So now we're going to be adding that milk in. We got 100 grams of fat-free milk. There's a lot of protein in here without too much fat. Up next, we got that whole egg yolk. It's pretty simple, just drop it in, guys. Got 25 grams of that good old-fashioned melted butter. So now we're going to put around 125 grams of that Birch Bender mix. We initially only used 100 grams, but it was a little too wet, so 125 is the right number. So now we're putting half a teaspoon of baking soda in there. I used to put a lot of this and always used to wonder why my pancakes were so bitter. So just a half a teaspoon is all you need. So same thing with the baking powder. We only want half a tablespoon here. Like I said, again, it's really bitter, so just add a very small amount of this. So now we got some matcha powder, and honestly, it doesn't really matter how much you put in this. As long as you get a good quality matcha powder, this is gonna taste like, all that matcha flavor in that pancake, which is gonna be really delicious. So we put around maybe 20 grams in here, but you could put more, you could put less, depending on how green you want it, and depending how much matcha you like. So now we got 60 grams of monk fruit sweetener. This seems like overkill here, but it's actually underkill. This is a lot less sweet than sugar, so put a lot more than you think you would need. So once everything's added in, you just want to very lightly whisk it in. You don't want to go too tough here or too fast, because when you overmix the batter, it can turn really tough and it's going to ruin that nice, soft, pillowy, cloudy texture that we really want in our pancake. So just go really nice and slow and make sure you're not overmixing here. So now that that's all added in, this is probably the most important part. We're going to be adding in the egg whites that we beat it up from earlier. And this is probably the most important step, because this is what really makes it into a souffle pancake rather than just like a normal, thick pancake that with a lot of dough, right? So these eggs are going to incorporate a lot of air into the batter, making it really light. You can even feel it when you mix up the batter, right? It's going to turn into this really nice, airy kind of mixture. So this is going to translate to a really fluffy pancake. So make sure you're not overmixing here. Very softly just fold in the batter over the egg whites until you see all that white go away. So that's really it for the batter, guys. You should really see this kind of consistency right here, where it kind of droops down a little bit. It's not too wet. It's just nice and kind of like batter-y, if that makes any sense. So now let's get into the cooking, guys. This part is probably the hardest part of this whole process. It's just kind of like, cooking it to the right time, the right timing, and the right heat, right? So on a medium-low heat, you want to spray it with some nonstick spray. And you want to make sure that you get this ring mold right here, because that's what's really going to shape the pancake. And make sure to spray it really heavily, because it's going to stick to that ring mold too. So if you want to get it out, you got to make sure that, you sprayed it enough. So once the pan is nice and hot, which is pretty simple now, we just want to put the batter in. And I want you guys to notice one thing here. We put the batter in and we're only going to fill it up to maybe 3/4 of the way, because when I first made this with my original recipe, you guys can go back to that video, the original souffle pancake recipe. I filled it up way up to the brim and I was being ambitious. And what happened, because we have the baking powder, we have the baking soda, and we have egg whites in there, so it expands like crazy in the pot, which we want, right? We want it to be fluffy, we want it to expand. But if you fill it up to the brim, it's kind of a double-edged sword, because it becomes like this big exploding mushroom, right? It's gonna have the souffle pancake shape, but on top of it, it's gonna puff up so much that it becomes a mushroom and you just end up having to cut it off. So go 3/4 of the way if you want a perfectly cylindrical pancake here. So now let's incorporate some steam in here by putting in some water around the pancake mix. That ring mold is going to prevent the water from seeping in, because it's heavy and you want to put it with the lid immediately. So now we steam the pancake and it's going to cook through. It's really thick, right? It's a really cylindrical kind of shape, so we want to make sure it cooks through without burning the bottom, hence the medium-low heat. So now we're going to be cooking it up for 8 minutes on a medium-low heat. Any more than that, the bottom is going to burn, so make sure that you really incorporate, or you're really watching the time here. So after around 8 minutes, you can see that it rose significantly. It's starting to look like that pancake shape, right? So 8 minutes is all you need here. Make sure you are on medium-low heat or the bottom will burn. So now we got the moment of truth. You want to get a spatula, maybe like a fork, because it's really heavy and it's really large and it's hard to flip. So right now, moment of truth, we want to flip it over and make sure that one side is perfectly cooked and the other side is going to get that heat as well. So now we got around 2 minutes on this side, just to kind of make sure the other side browns. And if you can see closely right here, Jeremy's kind of demonstrating with his film, is that the pancake is still rising in the ring mold. So this is going to turn super fluffy and it's going to be awesome, guys. Now we got the moment of truth. We got these awesome pancakes. They're super tall, they're super fluffy, and they're super great to eat, guys. 30 grams of protein in each one of these. So now you can add any kind of fruit that you like here. I like to go with raspberries and blueberries, because I think they add like a lot of acidity to all that sweetness. The pancake themselves aren't that sweet because we use monk fruit sweetener, so feel free to use something like a sugar-free syrup. I think that'll go really well here. I think you can find a maple syrup kind of version as well. So that is really it for the recipe, guys. We hope you liked this video. Thank you so much, Jeremy, for joining me in this video. It was so much fun making this. These were really delicious, guys. For 30 grams of protein, I think this should be like the go-to snack that everyone should be eating for their desserts or for their cheat days, or in any of your days if you follow flexible dieting, really. So yeah, if you liked the video, feel free to like it and share it. If you have made it, feel free to tag us. It would mean the world to us to see that you guys made this. Definitely. And we have a whole blog on our website about healthy Asian food and healthy choices, so make sure to check that out at aspirefitnesswalnut.com/blog. And we hope to see you in the next one, guys. And also, one last thing I'm going to say is, if you guys have any recommendations, please let us know and we would love to make it for you guys. Thanks, guys.